Welcome back, guys, to the Sports Rundown. This week, pretty much going forward, it's going to be a little bit different. We won't really have videos. Me and Kanan have been busy with school and work and other things like that. So this is kind of an adaptation of the Sports Rundown. We're going to call this the Sports Rundown Radio. You may notice the different logo. So looking forward to this new adaptation of the Sports Rundown. Hopefully y'all will join in and still watch and listen. We'll have highlights and stuff going over this audio. It's kind of basically like a podcast, but we'll have video and stuff incorporated into it. It will be posted on YouTube, and we haven't really decided yet. Let us know in the comments if we should post it on the Anchor app. Just want to give a quick shout out to Philip Fauché, who has been helping us behind the scenes, running our Instagram, got us a lot of followers and things like that. Kanan, still keeping us updated in the world of sports. Also want to give a quick shout out to our new addition to the team, Ben Lejeune. So Ben, you want to introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, where you went to high school, where you're at now, and tell us a little bit about your sports background.
Yeah, man. I'm from Zachary, Louisiana. I went to Zachary Middle School and transferred to Silliman Institute down there in Clint, Louisiana. Started playing sports. Recently, I just went down there for baseball and stuff, but I got asked to play a little bit more sports, and I got the privilege to play some basketball, baseball, football, track, and it's been a pretty good journey, but it's came to an end now that I'm in my freshman year at Southern Miss. But it's been pretty fun to join y'all guys and see where this goes.
So we're going to jump right into it, going with the NCAA. We're from Louisiana, so we're a little bit of homers. We enjoy LSU football, So LSU football has been doing, it's only 2 games into the season, but the fact that they're doing so well with this new offense, they're running a lot of spread, with Joe Brady, the new offensive and passing coordinator. He's not offensive coordinator, but he helps out with the offense. For instance, Joe Burrow, the Texas game, had 471 yards, 4 touchdowns, and only had 1 pick. And, that pick didn't really even matter because after that pick, he bounced back and he did a phenomenal job. And I think 2 games into the season, we have a bright outlook. And, a lot of people are saying, let's see Alabama, but I don't know if we're quite yet ready for Alabama. Kind of glad we have Northwestern State next week, but talk about the new LSU offense.
So like you said, we have Joe Brady coming in, came from the New Orleans Saints, so we're seeing a lot of that Saints-style offense. Like you said, it's spread. They're running a lot of run-pass option, which I think Burrow likes, and they're running a lot of hurry-up, quick offense. Burrow on the season is thrown 749 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and currently he has the 5th highest QBR in the NCAA at a 92.1. So I'm thinking that he likes this new type of offense. LSU's been mainly a ground team for the past couple of years, especially under the Les Miles administration. But as we saw, he was able to air it out. And not only that, he aired it out to multiple different receivers. 3 different receivers for LSU in the Texas game had over 100 receiving yards. And we saw to get over 100 rushing yards. So, it's more of an air game, but we're able to balance it out with that ground game with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, the depth at the running back position, you have Chris Curry, who we saw glimpses of in the Georgia Southern game. He was running over people. You have the true freshman from Destrehan. I'm blanking on his name.
John Emery.
John Emery, thank you. He has flashy juke moves. We saw that one highlight play from him, and looking at the depth of the running back position, it's good. But looking at the talent we have at the receiver position is also really well because we're balancing it out, and that's what going on to the next level and playing these in the SEC West. In the past few years, especially in the under the Les Miles, towards the end of his tenure, we were kind of slacking, and then when Ogeron came in, he did not, defied the odds and did great things, and then we're just building up from there. And I feel like it's great, and I feel like LSU is coming up and gonna do better things this upcoming and future seasons.
Oh yeah, especially with Joe Barrow, a quarterback coming in, fifth-year senior, and leading the team. Like, for example, in the game, whenever he threw that interception, he bounced back. I mean, it kind of relates to Jalen Hurts' story. And so having a good leader on the team like that to lead the team, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, and even when Joe Burrow leaves, you have great guys under him. You have Miles Brennan, who is, great quarterback, Elite 11 quarterback out of St. Stanislaus in Mississippi. You see him kind of just sitting there and learning and soaking it all up. While he doesn't get not a lot of playing time, he is sitting there soaking it up. We saw him play in the Georgia Southern game. While they were being conservative, he still was making plays out there to his receivers. So it's almost like we're seeing a great season we're seeing a great year this season, and we're looking forward to the next few seasons.
Right. And Coach O said at the end of the game, he said he was very proud of his offense, like we always said. But the thing is, he said we do need to work on the defense a little bit, which I do agree because, I mean, there was over, I believe, 1,100 yards of total offense in the LSU game. And we had, I believe, around 580 of those yards, which means Texas also had over 500 total yards, which is something you definitely don't want to see from your defense. But luckily, the offense was able to pick us up and able to keep the game going, keep us in the game. And eventually we did come out and get the win. And because of how big this game was, LSU actually jumped 2 spots in the AP polls, went from number 6 up to number 4, which knocked down Ohio State.
Yeah, so like you said, big and better things coming up for LSU. Talking about, AP poll, number 7, Michigan, almost lost to Army in double overtime. Final score was 24-21. Very close game, especially since against, I wouldn't say a low, not a Power 5 school. That's where
power. I would think a Power 3 at most.
Yeah, they're
Oh yeah,
not,
for sure.
They're not a big school. And number 7 Michigan almost lost to Army, and 24-21 in double overtime, I think kind of explains itself. Michigan needing to fix things on both offense and defensive side. So,
the Army game, they stayed in it the entire time until I believe the last seconds when they let Michigan tie it up. But going into overtime, Army got the ball first, went down and scored a touchdown. Michigan answered back. And so to start double overtime, Michigan ended up getting the ball first, kicked a field goal, and when it was Army's turn to be on offense, they ended up fumbling, I believe, on a 3rd and 10 from the 25, and Michigan ended up recovering. So Army had the potential to tie it and send it into triple overtime or even win the game, but sloppy play.
Yeah,
it just comes with a team like that. I mean, they passed the ball twice in the entire game. They're a very run-heavy offense.
Yeah, I mean, with Army going in, defense doing most of the work, the quarterbacks got 43 yards, and they had most of their yards on the ground with 200 yards. Shared between a lot of running backs. They got 5 of them. But their defense, man, played lights out, and they fought out throughout the whole game and pushed into OT.
Yeah, and one thing you think of Army and with Air Force, you think of that triple option, or that run pass option we saw kind of with Georgia Southern. Some teams are successful with it, and didn't really see that from Georgia Southern. Great game planning from LSU, but with Air Force and Army, you see a lot of that option, and it almost got them to get that victory against number 7 Michigan.
And number 7 Michigan, despite eking out that very close win, dropped 3 spots to number 10 in the AP polls. So they are slipping a little bit.
Yeah, so I think that'll do it for the NCAA. Next up, we will have the NFL.
All right, now we're transitioning back to the Packers versus Bears recap. What y'all think about that?
Low-scoring affair, to say the least.
Yeah, you see the offense. The final score was 10-3, and now when you think of the Bears, you think of their defense, and they showed up here. The the Bears defense only gave up 10 points. But it seems like for the Bears, they couldn't really get any offense moving. Mitch Trubisky struggling a little bit behind center, and it seems like the whole offense was struggling because I'm gonna be honest, I have Allen Robinson on my fantasy team, and he scored 0 points. He got targeted 3 times, and he did not catch the ball once. So definitely offensive struggle there for the Bears. Packers, always finding a way to win, it seems like, with Aaron Rodgers behind quarterback. But
like I said, very low scoring, very defense strong game. Aaron Rodgers only threw for 203 yards despite everybody having all eyes on him with the new head coach, Matt LaFleur, who was apparently supposed to revamp the Packers offense. Didn't show too well. Mitch Trubisky only had 228 yards through the air, and the rushing leader of the game was Aaron Jones, who had 39. So, I mean, it's been very hard for these two offenses to get going against each other.
Oh, yeah. The Bears defense picked up right where they left off last season. I mean, Roquan Smith was forced to be reckoned with, coming up with the first 2 tackles for the Bears defense of the day. Then the Bears came together to make a great stop on 3rd down in the first drive. And Green Bay's offense was not able to carry out anything in the first quarter, failing to get 1 first down. So, I mean, the defense was phenomenal, but the offense was only able to get 3 points. So,
now this is a personal question for y'all. Because we can see, the Ravens versus the Dolphins, 59-10 was the score. And then you have the Packers versus Bears, 10-3. Do y'all like more of a defensive showing game, or do you like defensive showing with the Packers versus the Bears? Or do you enjoy watching Ravens versus the Dolphins, where it's just big plays after big plays?
Well,
for one team, you do see a lot of big plays and things like that.
Yeah, here's my viewpoint. If it's a one-sided affair compared to a very close game, I would much rather watch a close game. But if it's a very high-scoring, high-octane offensive game between two teams like the LSU-Texas game where, I mean, you're scoring close to 100 points in the game, but it stays close the entire time, I'd rather watch that than a very close defensive game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, on a regular Sunday during the season, I mean, when a team's showing out like that, I mean, you love to watch it, but definitely with the defense playing, I mean, personally, I think that, like conference play and playoff time, when that comes around, I mean, defensive effort like the Bears put out last night.
Yeah, and, like they say, defense wins championships. So, I like to see the big plays, but honestly, I would love to see a defense sitting there saying, you're not going to score any points or not score too many points on us, and, keep it under 10 the whole game for the Bears defense, and for the Packers only giving up 3. But the fact that they're going to sit there and say, you're not going to, score on us, I love that. I think it just juices me up, and I just love that. But in other news from the NFL, AB, Antonio Brown, a lot of news coming from the Raiders in recent weeks, saying, with the cryogenic injury, with the bouncing back, with the fine, with arguing with Mike Mayock, getting his guaranteed money pulled, not saying he's going to get his guaranteed money. He finally gets released. A lot of bad negative attention from coming from Raiders and Antonio Brown. John Gruden, see a lot of interviews with him. He wants to, he wanted AB to play, but it just didn't work out like that. And he ended up, Antonio Brown ended up going to the Patriots with Josh Gordon and Julian Edelman with Tom Brady behind center. So a lot of big-time receivers for Tom Brady. Antonio Brown is a clown, and, he it almost seems like it was a plot,
Yeah, Antonio Brown, I mean, he was so desperate to force his release, just shows how wild things had gotten between him and the Raiders. Brown even went to the social media route to take aim at the general manager, Mike Mayock, on Wednesday. But, I I mean, having a guy like that on the team that just puts up numbers for the team, I mean, that's good for the organization. But having a guy like that in the locker room, and I'm sure we can all relate to this, but having a guy like that in the locker room, like a cancer, it's just not healthy for the team. But I mean, it's kind of hard at the same time when the team needs a playmaker like that, man.
I was going to say AB was the first glimmer of hope that Raiders fans had in a while after they got rid of both Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack after John Gruden came in. So that was their first step towards rebuilding, and it gave Raiders fans a little bit of hope in their last season before they moved to Las Vegas. And that hope just got ripped right out from under them after all this controversy around Antonio Brown.
And, one thing John Gruden says is, there's a lot of rookies that are making a name for themselves in mini camps and in training. And so look out for them while they don't have a big-time superstar like Antonio Brown. I feel like some of these rookies can stand up. While they may not be household names yet, I feel like this season they can make it with the Raiders. So I believe that they don't have any more comments, so I believe that will do it for the NFL. Next up will be the MLB.
All right, guys, moving on to the MLB. Twins starter Michael Pineda received a 60-game suspension on Saturday for testing positive for hydrochlorothiazide, which is a diuretic, in violation of Major League Baseball's Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program, as announced by the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball, Rob Manfred. So Pineda, like we said, he's been in some controversy throughout his career. If we remember back when he was with the Yankees, during the middle of a game, he got spotted with pine tar on his neck, which is an illegal substance to have as a pitcher. It helps control the spin on the ball a little bit more, and it gives you a bit of an edge. So it's not allowed in the MLB anymore. So
yeah, in Michael Pineda's defense, I saw a thing that, it was with football, but you can see it with any professional sport. He could be given the benefit of the doubt. He could have taken it. But the rules changed so much to what you can put into your diet and things like that. And, some of the NFL players and MLB players, they've been taking this supplement because you have to be at the peak of your body. You're playing at a professional level, and you are going to have to take supplements. You are going to have to take things. Now, whether or not they're legal or illegal is, subject to the NFL or MLB, I should say.
And
substance
before Ben starts talking, I want to mention like what you said about that he needs to be at his peak performance level. Pineda is 6'7", 280 pounds. He's a big guy, and he said that the pills he took were an over-the-counter medication given to him by a friend to help manage his weight. So he's trying to get in a little bit better shape using those pills, but they have the illegal substance in them. So despite his good intentions to use the pills, you still just can't do that.
Yeah, and see, that's what I was saying. You see this thing where, maybe because there was a thing a few years back where a guy, he said he's been taking this supplement for so long, and he never tested positive for anything. And then all of a sudden the rules changed and he had to drop the supplement. Or there's one instance where a guy, the manufacturer, actually something got slipped into that not this particular bottle, but it wasn't supposed to be there. And what I'm saying is it said this is what was in the pill, but actually he tested positive for it, and he had tested and took a lie detector test and said, these are the only things I'm taking, and he actually passed it. So it's like, you have good intentions, but sometimes they come to bite you in the butt with the ever-changing substance policy in the professional sports world.
Yeah, Pineda had been arguably the most consistent member of the Minnesota Twins starting rotation since May, and so with that being said, man, he played a big part of the team, and so if it was by accident, man, that's a tough one right there for the team.
Yeah, Pineda went 11-5 this season with the Twins. He had a 4.01 ERA, and due to his suspension, he will miss the final 21 games plus any postseason games that Minnesota will make. They are projected to make the playoffs. They have a 5.5 game lead over Cleveland in the AL Central. So if they win 14 games out of the rest of their for the rest of the season, they win, and they've already won 11 of those 14. So 3 more wins will put them in the playoffs, and that's a huge blow to their starting pitching rotation.
Yeah. The Twins might need to rely more heavily on younger pitchers like Lewis Thorpe, Devin Smeltzer, or Randy Dobnak, all of who have made their major league debuts this season. So young squad coming in pitching wise. So we'll just have to see how it is going into getting closer to the World Series.
Yeah, and you're talking about a big time playmaker out with Michael Pineda, but also another big time playmaker out indefinitely is Bryce Harper, out with a right hand contusion, which, honestly, it's a bruise. It could be sore and things like that. You are playing baseball. It's a lot of hand-eye coordination, a lot of things with the hands. But dude, it's a bruise. You are arguably the face of the MLB, and you're going to be out with a right hand contusion in such a big time spot, so close to the playoffs and everything. In my opinion, I feel like he's just trying to get a break and before playoffs, and blame it on the right hand contusion.
Yeah, and like you said, he's trying to get a break. Harper has started in 133 of the 140 games that the Phillies have played this season, and 3 of those games that he did not play were in late August following the birth of his first child. So he's been a workhorse for the Phillies so far this season. He's over the last calendar month, he's hit 281 with 11 home runs and 27 RBIs in 24 games of the past calendar month. He's also stolen 5 bases. And with him out, the Phillies have decided to replace him with Adam Hazley, will be taking the spot in right field for Bryce Harper. And I think that'll do it for the MLB. And next up, finally, we will have the NBA.
All right, now transitioning to the NBA. We got Team USA almost loses to Turkey, but then rolls over Japan and Greece in the FIBA World Cup. But, guys, the free throw line proved to be the difference between sweet relief and deep embarrassment. They escaped Turkey 93-92 in overtime in the FIBA World Cup group play game on Tuesday, barely keeping alive a 13-year undefeated streak at major international tournaments.
Yeah, USA has been dominant ever since they've entered the international circuit. They have been very consistent, high level of play, and they rarely ever lose, which was why it was so shocking. And they also had a very close call with Argentina in the group stage. They only won 84-83, but we did see, as we said in our previous videos, there was a lot of stars that declined to go to Team USA basketball, and that potentially lowered the value of their team at the level they could have played at. But we do see them still winning. Like Ben said, they rolled over Japan 98-45 on Thursday, and they beat Greece 69-53 on Saturday. And don't forget that Greece features their hometown hero Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is one of the NBA's biggest stars right now, last year's MVP.
All right, now we're going into Eric Gordon, man, signing a 3-year extension. $76 million for Gordon is the maximum contract he could have been offered. But Gordon, going into us age 30, is now signed for the Rockets for the next 5 seasons, and won't become a free agent until the 2023-24 season. The deal is only for 3 seasons, but he can be extended for $20.9 million if he makes an All-Star team or if the Rockets win a championship during the span of the deal.
Yeah, no doubt. And with the way the Rockets are rebuilding right now, they brought in Russell Westbrook, who was a former teammate with their current All-Star James Harden. So we're going to see if their chemistry clicks. Rockets definitely going to be a championship contender, so I wouldn't doubt if they won a title in the next 3 years. And if Gordon keeps up his level of play, he's a deep-range sharpshooter. We saw that when he played with the Pelicans, too. He can hit a 3-ball from pretty much anywhere on the court. So we're going to see how he does if he can pair well with Harden and Westbrook.
Yeah. Last year, he averaged 16.2 points per game during the regular season and 17.8 points per game in the postseason. And so with the news coming out, it's really excellent news for the future of the Rockets. And I'm sure Houston fans are ecstatic to hear this news.
Yeah, and you almost see kind of with Russell Westbrook and James Harden, you see a big two, and with Eric Gordon re-signing, you almost kind of see a big three right there. Also, they have Clint Capella, and so definitely on the come up for the Rockets. All right, guys, I think that'll do it for the Sports Rundown Radio. Kind of a unconventional little adaptation of our Sports Rundown. Still getting you news and things like that. Just with me, Ben's, and Kanan's college schedule, and with work and everything, we've just been so busy. And I think this is the best way we can get you weekly content. And hopefully, with this podcast, we can get back to the weekly schedules and things like that. So looking forward to see what we can do for you and bringing back the weekly uploads. And again, thank you to Ben for um, giving us the videos, doing the videos for us. He is going to be editing this video. So if you see any mess ups make sure you let Ben know, because yeah, give him a hard time. Give him a hard time about it. And again, thank you to Kanan for, helping come up with this idea. Always staying, giving me a hard time about we needing to film and things like that. And looking forward to the next week and when we can upload. So for the Sports Rundown Radio, for Chandler, for Kanan, for Ben, and also for the behind the scenes man, Philip Fauché, we'll see you next week.